There we are. Hi, I'm Greg Scott, and welcome to week 4, day 3 of the 4-week challenge I agreed to take on. Tonight, I want to talk about a time that I screwed up. Title this "Time to Man Up and Swallow My Pride," because that's a good title for this talk. This is embarrassing. I've been giving people and businesses boatloads of grief about security for at least the past 15 years, especially since I published Bullseye Breach, and even now that I'm publishing Virus Bomb. I'm going to tell you about a time that I did it to myself. And I'm going to tell you about that because I don't deserve to be on a pedestal. I make the same mistakes as everybody else. And I left a gaping security hole in my own website. I buried my head in the sand and I planted a kick me sign on my butt. And I'm grateful to a friend of mine named Igor for pointing it out to me, doing a penetration test. Why would I do that? Why would I embarrass myself in front of the whole world? Well, because I tell the whole world, adopt the motto, care and share to be prepared. It's good if I practice what I preach. The other thing is we learn from our mistakes. We don't learn from the things we do right. We learn from our mistakes. And this is a learning experience for me, and so maybe it can be learning for everybody. This goes back to 2017. My buddy Igor is from Ukraine. By the way, if you want to call me a dork for this one, well, just go right ahead because I deserve it. But here's the thing, and I tell this to people too. I would rather be embarrassed from making a mistake and have somebody point it out to me in a penetration test. That's way, 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 way better than being robbed because I left a door unlocked. So I am grateful to Igor for helping me out. Anyway, Igor's native language is Ukrainian, and you'll see that in a minute. He messaged me. Igor's a web developer. He taught me how to make a selections list in JavaScript a long time ago. He's really, really good at what he does. We hadn't talked in a while. I was eager to show him my cool new author website at the time. It's different now. It used a different theme then, but anyway. He asked me if he could try to hack it, and I said, sure. I'll take a free penetration test if you want to give it to me. I laughed and said, go right ahead. Just tell me anything you uncovered so I can fix it. I'm a security professional. What was Igor gonna find, right? I was pretty cocky. Well, first he tried to log in and change my admin password, and I saw the audit trail. I was feeling pretty good about myself. He couldn't do it. I look forward to the day when thousands of people try to visit my website every day and I need commercial hosting. But right now, it lives inside a virtual machine in my basement. I could probably take a picture of the Sam's Club wire shelves that the hardware sits on top of. Since I'm the only one that edits it, I was thinking about locking that down so that only people from inside my house could touch it anyway. But anyway, even when I had access to editing open up to the whole world, he wasn't able to get in the password. I was feeling pretty good, and then he nailed me. Now, bear with me for a second. I'm going to show you some screenshots here. So just let me click on a couple windows here and make this happen. Go here and do this, and I got to give me just a second. Screen sharing, yeah, there we go. Okay, now you're looking at the screen, and I'm going to show you that. And let's minimize a couple things here. Let's minimize that, and minimize that. Okay, this is what Igor found. Let's go up right about here. And he said, yes, I'll try to get the password. He did some auditing, found out what versions. And then Greg, man, why? And he gave me a URL. So I looked at the URL that he looked at, and then here's the script that he ran. What's wrong with Jetpack? I see a list of files, he said. Oh, that's about as bad as it gets. Igor went to my website, and he was able to look at the raw files buried inside of a directory that nobody's supposed to even be able to see. And it gets worse. Not only this, come on, he says, come on. And then he looked at all the files inside my WordPress theme, and he looked at all the files inside of another directory and in another directory, and And then he gave me some helpful advice in a Wikipedia article. And I tried to defend myself. Maybe you're looking at older copies of stuff that I need to lock down. Well, he wasn't. He was looking at my stuff, at the real content of my website. It was not properly locked down, and he nailed my hide to the wall, and I deserved it. I'm grateful to Igor for it. Yes, I think yes. Come on, Greg. Well, I went through all the stages of grief that people go through during a data breach. First, I denied it. This can't be right. How can he do this? He's looking at the wrong thing. Well, he wasn't. He was looking at the right thing. And while it's not that big a deal, so what? They can list files. Well, it is a big deal. It's a security flaw, and it needs to get fixed. And then I went through the other rationalization. I don't have time to mess around with this. I have more important stuff to do. Well, guess what? If somebody goes in, if somebody can look at the raw files of my website, that's one link in a chain gone. The next link in the chain is modify those files and sabotage my website. That's really, really, really bad if you're an author who writes about security and then somebody sabotages your website with all your good security advice. It's more than embarrassing when that happens. It's just not good for business. And so I went through all those stages of grief, and then I decided this is not right. Greg, you dork, you gotta fix this. What's wrong with you? So I did some looking. Now here's what I found. This gets a little bit technical. There's a configuration file where you set up the attributes for all this stuff. And on this particular website, I had chosen to put it in a different directory than most normal WordPress websites go. And I set this up. Here's my notepad. I set up this configuration setting: directory var www.html, options, indexes, follow symlinks. Didn't even pay attention. Well, that turns out that word indexes is crucial. Here's the bad configuration settings, and here's how I fixed it. Notice the difference. Options indexes, options follow symlinks. Now, I'm not going to teach you how to configure Apache. That's not the point here. The point here is that one word and that one configuration, that allowed anybody who looked at my website to go through and peruse directory listings as they see fit. I said in the configuration that it was okay for people to do that. It was a simple fix, and I took care of it, and it took me a couple hours to find, and life was good after that. I am grateful to Igor for finding that for me, as everyone else should be. Now let's go back to a regular video here. I want to thank Igor. I can't thank Igor enough for doing that for me. He did me a favor, and I can joke about it now because it was almost 2 years ago, but at the time, it was upsetting. Care and share to be prepared. I'd rather be embarrassed than penetrated. I hope the mistake I made helps other people, and I want people to know I can identify with the emotional turmoil you go through when somebody finds a vulnerability, and I can also tell you that you need to fix it when people find that stuff. Well, thanks for putting up with me. Next time, I want to talk about false alarms. Sometimes it's really not a cyber attack. Thanks for putting up with me, and I'll see you next time. Let's go here, and let's end our live video.